Hi Mel, how's it going?
Hello.
You always start with that hello.
I don't think. Do you know? Okay, you know how you said that it was sexual? I have multiple people message me and was like, "That wasn't that sexual." I'm like, I agree.
Oh, okay. It was very sensual?
No one
Is
said
that different?
It is.
That's just because they're trying to back you up.
Maybe. Well, let us know, fellow listeners. Was my hello sensual, sexual, or basically a normal human behavior?
Or do you want to hear the sensual version?
Yeah. Is that what you want? You dirty, dirty girls.
Oh my gosh.
All right, stay on topic, Mel. Stay on topic. Stay on
yeah.
topic. Despite us wearing bucket hats. You can't see it,
Yes.
listeners, if you're listening to the podcast. For some reason, we're wearing bucket hats.
There's a matching bucket hat situation that Iryan has, and I want them. And so this is my way of trying to say maybe this could be our signature look.
Maybe. And it has nothing to do with the topic at hand, which is, what is pickleball? Anyway, before we get into it, Mel, what are you watching?
Well, I just finished watching Baby Reindeer. Very topical. It was recommended by my brother, and it was recommended to him because he said that the TV show had such a profound effect on him.
Do I need to know his story?
No.
I know, because I know what Baby Reindeer is about.
Yeah,
Should I
yeah.
talk to your brother?
No. I don't think so. Bro, is there something I need to know? No, but he was just saying that there is so many stories of abuse that's out there. This one really impacted him because he felt that it was a version that he hasn't heard of before. I think there was, I don't know whether I should spoil the show with this.
Well, spoilers ahead, skip
Yes.
ahead if you don't want to listen. I'm fine, go ahead.
There's a particular moment, right? So the comedian on the show was abused by an older person. I don't know whether you know this. And once he was sexually abused, he decided to basically seek similar kind of abuse elsewhere. He's like, he went to like either, whorehouses, strip clubs, all that. He wanted to, he went to find similar experiences because to him, he's like, if that's happened to me before, all of the other sort of experiences would be the same, would be similar. And he really broke down when he realized that it isn't. Whatever that he's experienced with the older character is not the same as him seeking similar experiences out himself. So it might not make sense when you haven't watched the show. I didn't want to give out too much away, but for my brother, he was like, that is something that he hasn't heard of before. It's like, if a particular abuser done something to that person, that they want the person to think that from now on, they should be seeking similar abusers out because what does it even matter? They've experienced it before. I don't know if that makes sense.
It did not. But you know what? I hear it's a very popular show, so I will watch it at some point. I felt like it was very feverish. Like I watched one episode and I just need to put it down. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I might not be able to articulate it well enough. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's me.
I don't know. Well, on a future episode, if I talk about Baby Reindeer, we'll see if I can articulate it better or worse. Don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. And then the second thing that I've been watching, and me and Iryan kind of decided that we will watch is rewatch, is Kim Possible.
Love Kim Possible.
We were deciding whether we should rewatch like a nostalgic TV show that maybe represented a show that we would have watched in the past. It was either this or the Nigel Thornberry show TV show, or Totally Spies, or Recess. Let us know if you think that Kim Possible is the right show to focus on. We'll do a deep dive on it maybe. We shall see.
Who's Nigel Thornberry? Is he the dad?
He's the dad.
Oh, he's the dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the big nose. That's all I remember.
Because it's Ginge. Oh gosh, I can't remember the daughter's name. But I just know it was such a good show.
I know it's a family show based in the jungle.
No, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
But that's what I've been watching. What about you? What have you been watching?
What am I watching? So I'm not watching a series at the moment. A couple of days ago, started watching, because it takes me a couple of days to finish a bloody movie. A movie called The Creator on Disney+.
Oh.
It is very topical. It's about artificial intelligence. And So at the time of recording, OpenAI released GPT-4o for any of our listeners that is following the AI trend. I think it's absolutely revolutionary. I think it will change the game of artificial intelligence. It's got visual capabilities. I've seen it tutor math. I mean, it's quite amazing. So very topical. The movie is, look, I haven't finished the movie, admittedly.
Wait, how long's the movie? If it's not
2
3
hours.
hours long, yeah, no excuse.
2 hours. And so, look, I'm almost there. I understand the premise of the movie. So the movie is about a world where artificial intelligence has come to a point where it's become sentient. So if you follow, did you watch The Imitation Game?
I did. I can't remember what it's about, but I have watched something.
Have you heard of the Turing test? Yeah. No. Anyway, the Turing test is currently the test that tests if artificial intelligence is sentient, right?
Yeah. What
And
does
so
sentient mean in this context?
it can think for itself rather than think through pre-trained. So, see, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer.
Yep.
So you feed it information, it learns, and it spits it out.
Yep,
And it does it a lot, so it feels real.
Yep.
Right? But at a certain point, and they might call it the artificial intelligence singularity, but when you pass that point, they become sentient.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Right? And so it's a scenario where AIs become sentient. And this is all at the start of the show, by the way. So I'm not spoiling the show, but there was a nuclear bomb that was dropped in Los Angeles, I think it was, and that kicked off this war. And so the story is about humanity against AI and how there are two camps.
Yeah. Okay.
And a quote that I thought was very powerful from the movie, early on in the movie, was humans thought Neanderthals were behind, but they had tools, they had feelings, they had families, and we wiped them out. Artificial intelligence is the next species that are better, smarter, faster. I can see the argument.
Does that scare you?
It's somewhat an inevitability that we get to artificial intelligence because humans have this desire to do more, to learn more, to challenge what you can. Just a couple of days ago, a number of companies, Facebook, Google, I think OpenAI, signed a non-binding agreement, a non-binding treaty or something, but some sort of non-binding agreement to say that they will put in a kill switch into the artificial intelligence models. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this, AI. But yes, so they've agreed to put in some sort of kill switch in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's live. There's no turning back.
Interesting.
And there's more movies like that. There will be more and more,
yeah.
right? Like it's Skynet is coming, I think, for those Terminator fans out there.
It does make me wonder though, like, I feel like if we were to be extinct at some point, it'll probably be long after us being alive, presumably. If AI were to take over, fully take over.
I really don't know. So, and we're going to get really into this topic. It's actually approaching some sort of existential topic I might want to talk about now that I think about it. But so we're at a point in artificial intelligence where I cannot tell the difference currently when I speak with GPT-4o if it's a person replying or not. For the most part, I mean, you speak with it long enough, then you'll know.
Yeah.
It speaks pretty well. In the latest version, it's got tones, it can sing. And this is all pre-quantum computing, right? And quantum computing will again change the world to allow computations to be a lot faster. And look, once we reach quantum computing, you know this. Have you seen those movies where they're trying to break the code, like crack the code, and they say it takes like 1,000 years to crack the code? Quantum computing will do it in 5 minutes. And so imagine that with the power of artificial intelligence, So then what will humans do?
I guess we will be the pets. You know how?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
probably.
As long as they treat us nice, you know, like if you can basically be like a corgi to
Well, then I guess it takes us back to the basics of the 3 laws of robotics, which I can't remember what they are now, but there are 3 laws of robotics, and one of them says don't harm humans. I think, I hope. I'm sorry, AI.
Damn, you're a science nerd.
You know what? Let's talk about this on another day because
Yeah.
it's
It's
my
interesting.
thing.
I think it is interesting, right? Because I think even like recently, I don't know if you've heard, Scarlett Johansson sued a particular company
Yes,
for
I read that.
imitating her voice on a like AI type thing. She didn't give consent, and so they generated a voice that is so similar to Scarlett Johansson's voice that none of her family or friends were able to tell them apart. So, I mean, things like this are always popping out. We'll probably see a lot more issues that comes from this. So, I guess if you're a science nerd and you're willing to talk about it, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
so
it is.
stay
And
tuned.
you know what? There will be a time where AI robots will play pickleball. I assure you. Right? Again, watch the movie The Creator. They're very human-like. It's absolutely crazy. So topic at hand.
Pickleball?
Pickleball. Okay. So, Mel, when was the first time you heard about pickleball? If you can remember.
I do remember.
Oh.
It's because someone from dragon boating stopped dragon boating to do pickleball.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's only maybe at the end of last year that I started knowing what pickleball is.
That sounds right. 2023 sounds right. And the reason I say that is because and I do this sometimes because there's nothing else better to do, right? If you're interested, there is a website you can go to called Google Trends, and you can check what country is searching what. And the US has always had a steady increase in pickleball searches, people are trying to figure out what it is. In Australia, and I'm looking at the numbers now, in Australia, it really picked up in June 23, July 23, it started to get a bit more popular. Malaysia, there's a very specific date in Malaysia for our Malaysian listeners. Between the 7th and the 13th of May 2023 is when it started. Before that, 0 searches.
So if you are based in Malaysia and you play pickleball and you know what happened on May 15th? Do you say?
7th to 13th May 2023. I don't know.
Tell us what happened then. Like, what was the beginning of pickleball era in Malaysia?
Yeah, she's a good point. Because I'm curious, because I visited Malaysia recently, and I was driving around KL with Dad actually, and we drove by the courts and we looked at it, and it was like, what? I knew it existed, never seen it in person. So, what on earth is happening? So, by the way, for our listeners and whoever's watching us on Instagram or whatever it is, I have played pickleball at least more than once. I'm not qualified to talk about this topic, but we'll figure it out as we go.
And I have never played pickleball. I don't even know how to play tennis. I know how to play badminton.
Okay, so this is going to make the next point a bit. Pickleball is so popular that Andre Agassi and John McEnroe played pickleball earlier this year in a tournament. Do you know who they are?
Who that?
Exactly.
Nah. No. Nah. I know what ping pong is. It's basically the same thing.
Okay, so Agassi and McEnroe are tennis players.
Yeah,
Tennis
I gathered
You
that.
gathered? Yeah, you gathered? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. So anyway, so real big. Also, can I just say, I wrote in the notes, cue the question of who they are from Mel. So,
but I basically did it for you by
Well, there
telling
you go.
you that I'm not a big fan of
Yeah.
chess. I've been to the US Open once with you, in fact, and that's it.
so I did a bit of research. I say a bit, but you should see these notes.
Yeah, if right now it's about 5 o'clock late at night on a Sunday.
Did you say late? How old are you?
No, it's dark. So it's winter in Melbourne. It's dark. He took 3 hours to research. I came to his place at 2 o'clock to 2:30 to start recording. And he took 3 hours to research this. So
You can't rush the creative process, Mel.
I know, but it's dark now. Like, we have to use a ring light. Now we look like some bloody content creators, if anyone can see it on
Do you not
Insta.
want to be a content creator? I mean, isn't that the whole point?
I mean, but like, I've never used a ring light.
Well, now you have.
Yeah, I know this is the first time. Well, and you can't tell for any of the listeners online, but we've utilized a ring light. I feel like every time we do an episode, we're using more equipment. I feel
Yeah, I know,
more
right?
podcasty.
Oh, there you go. So anyway, so pickleball. Okay, so do you know anything about the history of pickleball?
No.
Because neither did I, and I'm going to tell you, no one else does. But I actually found the history really
So
interesting.
are you basically going to be will people be saying that you've put together the history of pickleball?
Look, a lot of Googling was involved and a lot of videos watched, but it's out there. Nothing new. There's nothing new here, right?
Okay, tell
but
me.
I find it really interesting. So, so pickleball has been around for a long time.
Really?
Yes, 1965.
Okay.
So not long, but
Almost the same age as my parents.
yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So it started, and this is true. I watched an interview with one of the
Founders.
let's call it, right? So 3 dads. Trust the dads to figure something out. So
To
dad.
get away from their kids.
Well, yes. Yeah. Well, yes. Actually, that is the actual story. So 3 dads, and I've got their names. So Joel Pritchard, Barney McCallum, and Bill Bell, right? So they go on holiday every summer to somewhere in the US, somewhere in Washington, Bainbridge Island or something. And the game started with some ping pong paddles and some sort of plastic ball, right? So story goes, rainy day, kids were bored, dads were sitting there thinking, guys, just take these ping pong paddles, take this ball, go to the badminton court and figure it out. Ingenuity.
That's it?
Well, technically that's how it started, right? And then the adults saw that it was really fun.
So the kids did it.
So the kids, they said, go and play. And so the kids went to play. And then the parents were like, oh, that looks pretty fun. Maybe we should try. Right? I know, right?
So they stole the idea.
From the kids. But they're under 18, so, it's like,
You're like, oh, basically, I gave birth to
well, exactly,
my
yeah,
kid.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Legally, it's on the birth cert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know, right? and again, completely new, right? So it was ping pong. So it's pickleball is a combination of, I guess you could think about it as a combination of badminton, tennis, and ping pong.
Okay, I know 2 of them.
Good.
2 out of 3.
As in, you know how to play them, or you know they exist?
I know they exist. I know. No, sorry. I know ping pong because Malaysia. We're big on our ping pong. I know badminton. Actually, no, that's just badminton. I know ping pong because it's a Chinese sport and they win a lot.
I guess.
Yeah. And then tennis is the only thing that is foreign to me.
Nadal, Federer.
I know, but I said more foreign.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
All right.
And then, do the kids know that their ideas were stolen?
I think they interviewed one of the kids. I'm happy to link a YouTube. Actually, I will link a YouTube video into the description of the notes somewhere. But yeah, so they interviewed one of the kids.
Yeah.
So very interesting, right? And then so again, badminton court, right? There's a net. Now I don't, it's not a badminton net because
Yeah.
badminton nets are higher.
Yeah.
So and I found this fact pretty interesting. The height of the net is 36 inches
Yeah.
because it is the height of Joel Pritchard's waist.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
So that when they're setting it up, he will measure it with his waist.
Yep. Scrappy. I love a good scrappy way of figuring things out.
So anyway, so after a while, and this is still the history of it, right? So after a while, they were playing with the ping pong paddles, and they realized it was too weak.
Yep.
So they went and made their own paddles. I
Yeah.
think one of them had some sort of workshop they did in the garage on the island, and then they just made up the rules as they went, right? So the rules, we'll talk about the rules in a bit. 'Cause you might find it interesting and weird, and scoring blows my mind.
Okay.
I still don't know how to keep score, but it blows my mind. All right, and then so that was summer, Washington, Bainbridge Island, I think it's called. Summer ended. So then they all went back to Seattle, I think. Oh, what was his name? Barney McCallum went back to Seattle. And there were obviously not a lot of courts. Pickleball didn't exist yet. So they played on the street.
Right.
Reminds me of when we grew up playing badminton on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, play on the street.
Yeah.
So they did that for a while. And then one of the stories that they were sharing about why it grew. So this Joel Pritchard person was a congressman.
Yeah.
Well, he was running for Congress. And apparently, at his political events, he'd say, all right, guys, let's play some pickleball. What?
Yep. Okay.
What? Where do you find the space?
And did people play?
Apparently. And actually, I can see why that can work because I've only played twice, but I've seen it get set up.
Yeah.
And the net just fits in a bag.
Yeah.
You set it up with the legs and the net and all that, and then your paddles and your balls are pretty. You can carry it with you in the
That's it.
car. It's simple, as long as you've got a flat surface that the ball can bounce off.
Yeah.
You can literally set it up anywhere.
So did he win? Did he get elected to Congress?
He was a congressman, yes.
And do you think that the pickleball helped?
So it's
Maybe?
it's very social. I mean, we'll talk about why it's so popular, but I actually think it was a very social, or is a very social sport.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it did help. So if anyone wants to be a member of parliament, they could utilize pickleball.
Well, no, they need to find another sport because this is already done. You got to invent something new.
True, but what if it's not the invention itself? It's the activity itself of bringing people together. Because you can't really
Well, fair enough.
bring everyone together and
Bring a
play
frisbee.
rugby.
Should play frisbee.
Frisbee.
Yeah.
Sure. True.
Keep that in your bag. Just go.
Yeah. Fair.
I mean, doesn't sound safe, but you know,
Yeah. Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
what's a safe sport?
pickleball.
Pickleball.
Yeah.
So if anyone's running for election, city council, all that,
Carry a pickleball.
yeah. Pickleball. You heard it first from 31 now.
And what? Fuck. Okay. Yes.
So.
Okay, now pickleball. Why is it called pickleball? Nobody knows. It doesn't involve pickles.
Yes.
I was very disappointed.
There is a ball.
Yes,
got-
but there's no pickles.
There's no pickles. Do you reckon it fell into a pickle jar at one point, maybe?
You mean the ball?
Yes.
You haven't seen a ball, have you? It's huge.
Is it huge? Sorry, I'm
big.
thinking of a ping pong ball.
No. So the ball itself is like a big ping pong ball with holes. That's how it.
Oh, it has holes?
Yeah, it's got, yeah,
Like a
it's-
cheese?
Yeah, it's a perforated ball.
Oh.
cheese.
like cheese have holes, you know?
But the story goes,
Yeah.
right? The story goes, Joel Pritchard's wife, her name is Joan, started calling the game pickleball because it was a combination of a couple of different sports that reminded her of pickle boat.
Okay. Which I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is, but sure, that's one of the stories. The other story goes that there was a dog named Pickles
Who ate the ball
who ate the ball.
and shed it out.
I think, yeah. Well, I don't know, but anyway, so there's a story about a dog. Now, again, I don't know, mysteries.
I think a dog called Pickles
I think that sounds plausible. doesn't it?
plausible.
It sounds plausible. Yeah. But you never know.
Oh, nice. But the biggest thing that came out of that for me, and I don't know whether that's something you'll talk about, is I guess you can create anything anywhere. Technically, this is the creation of children, but, you know, the parents did finesse the rules and like the equipment required for it. But this actually reminds me of another board game that was kind of created out of nowhere, which I don't know if you know about this, but you know Secret Hitler? That board
No.
game? Have you not played Secret Hitler?
No.
Oh,
Is it like code names?
it's not like Codenames. It's basically a werewolf.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
So Secret Hitler, it's a board game. I didn't do any research on this because this just reminded me of it. But it was created not too long ago, and basically it's like werewolf. But instead of wolves and villagers, you have the fascist and the ordinary people. I can't remember what they're called. So you have like the villagers, which is the ordinary people, the liberal, sorry, not ordinary people, liberal, and the fascists, and you have Hitler as well. So it's basically a truth and lying game. You try to figure out who's the fascist. And then you kind of have this voting system, right? If you, what's the game is? If you can't find Hitler, or if you can't find the evil person, at some point the fascists will win. But I swear this was a game that was created not too long ago whilst I was in uni. Someone just decided to invent this game. The format was available online, so my friend Peter actually printed off the
like
cards.
Cards Against Humanity when you can print the
Printed off the cards, and then it only became a proper board game a couple years later. Yeah, so you can create anything.
Well, see,
yes.
all is not lost.
Yeah.
Listeners, you can still start your side hustle. Just maybe don't call it that.
It's very popular. Or see what your kids invent.
See what your kids are playing.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, exactly.
Because they're full of imagination and possibilities and life and goals and
And then monetize it, steal it from them, and don't tell them when they're older.
or if you really want to, if my legal brain is saying maybe like you allocate a portion of your profits to them, like
Pay for their education.
Pay for the education. No, but create an agreement, maybe put in a trust. Like if this is a really like popular game, you know what I mean? There's so many ways that you can try to protect yourself against your kids.
Oh, I don't know. They didn't copyright it, so
They
who's
didn't
to say?
copyright it.
But, well, not the. But, oh, well, can you?
You can
It's
copy.
a sport. They started a company called Pickleball Inc. And the reason for that was they needed, people were calling them, the sport grew, and people were calling them for paddles. And they said, well, I'm not going to do it for free.
Yeah.
But can you copyright a sport?
They can probably patent the design of
Oh, I'm sure
the
they can.
paddle.
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
Maybe
well, actually,
that?
I don't know if you can.
You can probably.
I don't know.
For the first, as in,
I don't know.
I'm no patent attorney, but
I'm not a lawyer.
I think you can do something
how
with
to
the
price it.
design. Huh?
I can tell you how to price it. That's what I can do.
I think you can potentially patent the paddle.
Is this confusing you because we use the word paddle a lot?
Yes. I was trying to figure out a way of linking dragon boating in at some point, so thank you for providing me with the opening. But yeah, so why is it so popular?
Well, look, I think if you read through the stories, there's many stories, but what I kind of picked up along the way was COVID.
COVID?
So yeah, so it didn't really pick up for a while. It was just a sport that kind of existed. It was there, present.
That's how
COVID
I felt
hit.
in high school. Just existed. I was there.
They play this in high schools.
Yeah.
They do.
Great transition.
So anyway, so it existed, and then during COVID, during or slightly after COVID, it picked up, right? So again, I read this stat somewhere, so it's supportable somewhere. Just don't search it. Apparently, pickleball participation over the past 5 years has grown 11.5% on average,
11.5%.
which is a lot. And
Yep.
and if you think about ping pong, badminton, tennis, I can't remember which ones, but 2 of them fell, and one of them was kind of steady. But
Probably tennis.
yeah, but so more and more people are playing pickleball. They say, some say it's because of COVID, because coming out of COVID, you want to be social. And tennis was it's actually a very strenuous sport.
Yes.
Like, you don't-
People get tennis elbows.
Yeah, but do you know, because you play tennis?
I don't, but I've touched a tennis racket and it's really heavy. It's
Okay, but have you touched a paddle?
no.
It's very light. So it's actually a very easy game to play. And I can tell you this as a fact, because I've tried it.
And were you good at it?
I'm okay.
Not good enough. Not A plus.
but I play tennis. Like
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So apparently the pandemic coming out of it, a lot of people decided to play it. It's a bit more social. I actually really like the fact that the court is smaller. So when you play tennis, right, the other player, if you play one-on-one, you play doubles, but they're very far away,
Yeah.
right? So you can't actually have a conversation with the person over the net. You can't. You'll be shouting at each other.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And then tennis, the nature, depending on where you play, what court you play on, tennis is a very fast sport. You could play a slow rally, but it's a generally fast-moving sport.
And lots of running.
And lots of running. So the smaller court and the slower ball that the pickleball is means that it's a bit less. And don't get me wrong, it's surprisingly tiring, right? You get a workout, but it's less strenuous, so it's easy to pick up. There's a lot of people of different ages that play it, which surprised me. So when you look at it, you think, old people sport. No. In fairness, we're 30, but no.
We're not old.
No,
So
no,
no.
I'm not old, no. And so people in their 30s are playing, people in their 20s are playing. Like, it's really popular. Like, if you're listening from Malaysia, you will know, really popular. Here, booming. Mel, you did a search. Courts everywhere.
There is. I did. I was trying to be like, oh, pickleball's courts around me. Everywhere. I think there's one that's like 200 meters away from me. There's no real reason why I shouldn't be trying out the sport apart from obviously time. But
No, well, the other reason is the scoring is very hard. Actually, the rules are really interesting.
okay, tell me the rules.
Interesting-ish. I just kind of caveat that word interesting. It is confusing. So, okay, I don't know. You don't play tennis, so it's kind of.
No. But just go with it. Just go with it. I'm smart. Remember Ravenclaw. I can figure this out.
Oh, because you're
smart.
Oh, because you're smart. Yeah, you book. 'Cause you
I
do
book.
books.
I do
okay,
books.
because now there's books. Okay, so we're gonna get a bit technical, but it's better on a badminton court. And what I found really interesting researching this was there's a section called the kitchen.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know why it's called. And still, shame there's no pickles. But it's the no volley zone. So if you imagine a court, and you've got your two service boxes, and then you've got this little section in the middle right next to the net. It's like when you go right up to the net, and then there's a little section there.
Yeah.
That's called the kitchen.
Okay.
It has particular significance because you cannot volley from that section. You know what a volley is?
Is volley the hit?
Is when it doesn't bounce.
Okay. Yep.
So if you're in that box, or you are taking the hit and you are approaching, and as you finish the hit, you land in the box, you can't do that. That was one of the rules I didn't know.
Okay.
No one explained this to me. Right?
Yep.
I had to Google this. Right? The most important rule, well, not the most important rule, but a very important rule of pickleball is the double bounce rule. So in tennis, when you serve, right, the opponent has to let it bounce first.
Yep.
And then hit it back.
Different from badminton. Yes, I know this.
Yes. In pickleball, after the receiver has hit it back, it must also bounce on the server's side before they can hit. So it bounces once, and then as it goes back, it bounces again.
Okay.
Confused me. And then you just play.
Yep.
Cool.
And that probably helps its more slower paced nature.
Yes. They also have this thing called a dink.
A dick?
A dink.
A dink. I thought you meant a dick.
Thought you might.
No, I swear you said dick.
So a dink, the technical definition of a dink is a soft shot made with the paddle, hit so that it clears the net and drops into the non-volley zone, the kitchen. That is apparently the most savage shot you can do.
Okay.
This is pickleball.
I think this was great. Okay, I agree. I still, you know how we always talked about the dog ate the ball? I think the sport rules were created around a kitchen. I think so. It makes sense. The dink is basically a sink.
What?
It is a kitchen, there's a sink. And it makes sense, right? Like if you think about three grown men, I'm gonna bounce this ball.
Surely it's over beers.
Over beers? I'm gonna bounce the ball. Let's see if we can get it onto the sink. They're like, we got into the sink. That's savage, bro. You know? You don't think so? 100% this game was created in the kitchen.
Just these three dads in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What, throwing a ping pong ball around?
Yeah. And then the kids might be like there, and the kids like, yay, daddy, yay. I don't know. But it's...
Whose kids are these?
But this, okay, it doesn't sound super bizarre. Okay, is the point when you get into dink,
Okay.
is it more savage because you get more points?
No. So, scoring. So, points. I can only assume it's savage because you can't catch it.
Because then...
So, it's
it's
savage in the sense that it's
out.
just so hard to get the ball. But no, you don't get more points. Scoring, pain in the ass. So, scoring, there are 3 digits you need to call out when you call score. Not 2, even though there's only 2 sides to the court. 3. Why? So, I still get it wrong. So 3. So, in tennis, you would call the score of the server first and the recipient after. Right? So, if the serve changes, you swap it. Right? Because the server always comes first when you call the score.
Okay, yeah.
Same here. The serving team, let's assume you're playing doubles, will always come first.
Yeah.
So you might say, I don't know, they got 3. So 3, 2, and then the last number is the person serving if you're playing a doubles game. So you might have the first server, and you might be 3-2, so you'll say 3-2-1.
Yeah.
And if they don't get the point, it moves to the next one, 3-2-2. And no, don't worry, it still confuses me. And you know, make it worse. You can only get a point on your serve.
Oh.
Yes. So if the other person is serving, and you, I don't know,
Catch them off guard.
whatever it is, right? I was going to say get
yeah.
the point, but you don't get the point. You don't get a point. Yeah.
Oh my god, okay.
Yep. And you play to 11.
To 11 points.
Yep. It can take a surprisingly long amount of time because of that fact that you can't get a point.
Yeah.
if it's not your serve.
Okay.
But back to your question about why people play it, it's actually tennis actually takes a long time. If you play 3 sets or whatever it is, 5 sets. Like,
If you're proper,
it's kind of in between.
you've got a tennis club
Yeah,
membership.
exactly. You know. So that's what confuses me. The score. Look, I think again, it's an accessible sport. I would play. You should play it.
But so when I was looking at the cost of even entering, it seems quite cheap as well, right?
It is okay. So in this interview that I'll link in the show notes, somebody from the New York Times rang one of the founders or whatever we call them to say, hey, we want some gear. How much are you going to charge? He said, I don't know, because they never had to.
Yeah.
$29.50. That includes the net
Damn.
and the paddles. Again, this was, maybe
Years ago,
60, 70 years ago.
yeah.
But it's a very accessible sport. Now, again, I'm sure it can become very expensive if you're in tournaments and championships, but it's very accessible. Right? And the gear. So really all you need, right, so is the net if you were to buy a net, or you can go to a court, get some paddles, and they're really small.
Yeah.
They're, because tennis rackets are pretty big, but just think about a slightly bigger ping pong bat. And then the balls, think about a baseball, baseball, cheesy ball. It's not squishy though. But these balls have a problem.
What?
So when you would have heard this sound at the start of the show, but it goes pop, 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 noise complaints.
Oh.
It's a thing. There are lawsuits because it's noisy.
Lawsuits?
Yeah.
Because of the noise?
Yeah. So just imagine this. You hear the pop, pop, pop sound in your backyard.
Because you can play it anywhere.
And it doesn't take up a lot of space. You can play it in your driveway. Right? And so people are getting a bit upset. I'd say that's probably the only problem to this sport. I mean, it seems to be good on your knees. It seems to be relatively accessible. A lot of courts.
But actually, it's interesting, right? I wonder if the rise of the popularity of the sport comes with the current economic times. Like, you have to think about that, right?
Actually, fair.
Right?
That's a good point.
You can play it anywhere. The equipment's inexpensive. You don't need a tennis membership or an apartment that has a tennis court or whatever.
Yes.
Right?
But you do need to go to a court.
You need to go to court, but it seems inexpensive in comparison.
Yeah.
There isn't that association with private clubs.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think because if you watch like King Richard, the movie that was by Will Smith regarding, like he's the dad that raised Serena and Venus Williams. Tennis as a sport, it's quite elitist, right? And then I'm sure because ping pong and badminton, they've been here for so long, it's probably a similar sort of environment potentially. So yeah, maybe it's one of those instances where it's a cheap, accessible sport. People feel they can participate in it without any judgment. So yeah, like, sounds
When are you
cool.
gonna play?
Look,
Matt's got a lot on.
I'm a busy gal. You're a busy guy.
So much
You've got a couple things going on too, but I'm a busy gal. Maybe one day, we shall see. Maybe if we were to host like a 30 Watt Now pickleball meetup,
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Would you want to? Would
What
you
does
want to
everyone
join?
think? Yeah.
Maybe instead, we were always planning on having like a 10th episode party.
Well, past
Past
that now.
that.
Yeah.
But maybe instead of a 10th episode party at your place,
Oh, sorry, was it going to be at my
it
place?
was going to be at your place. I don't know if you know.
I did not get the memo.
Or at an establishment of some sort. Maybe it could
Slip
be.
that one in.
Maybe it could be at a pickleball court.
It might be fun, actually.
Maybe. And that way we can have more people. I don't know if anyone's going to show up though. We'll see. Would you show up?
So if we do organize a pickleball session, paddles, balls, we're going to figure out how we're going to provide it to everyone. You know what else? Nike and Adidas are on the bandwagon.
Oh.
I was very surprised.
They've always been the top of that game though, you know?
I know. But there are pickleball shoes. It's a whole thing.
And what is it? What is a pickleball shoe?
I assume it's like a tennis shoe. There's definitions, right? But they're saying that look for something that's non-skid, tennis.
Okay.
Non-marking soles, tennis. Good arch support, all shoes.
Not yeah, fit. I mean, not everyone needs it, but yeah. So a bit like running-ish kind of shoes.
Yeah, but the thing about running shoes, right, is because you have too much heel to toe lift, right? Depending on whether you run flat or you run with a bit of a tilt. But you don't want that because if you're playing on a court and you land incorrectly, you'll twist your ankle.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's a bit visual for now. Yes, breathable mesh
Yeah,
to
yeah.
promote airflow. And I'm looking at this. These are just tennis shoes.
So you're just saying the big corps, just trying to get your money.
100%.
Like they're like, it's kind of like you got a Panadol for your headache, one for your period pain, one for your like,
Oh yeah.
Right.
But they're all paracetamol, right?
yeah.
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 100.
But you know, we can probably prepare a couple of pickleball stuff, but we'll have people chat. Maybe we'll have a team in teams. Sounds like a great idea,
I think
actually.
that was a great idea. You know, so we'll try and get that sorted after we get Mel onto a court first.
Yep. Well, no, they can see.
Nike's got really nice shoes. So I was doing some searching. Actually, their shoes look pretty good, especially the ladies' shoes.
So Nike, sponsor us. Sponsor us to play pickleball for you.
So yeah. So no, hey, look, I'm looking forward to playing pickleball again. I don't know when it'll be. For our listeners, I sprained my ankle pretty badly a couple of days ago, and so I
From
can
what?
barely. I was crossing the freaking street.
Is this a sign of you being old? Yeah.
I have no response to that. I can't even. I just cut it there. I can't. We're done. Just don't embarrass me anymore. Thank you everyone for listening.
Bye.